Today we are shooting a video with two very cool guitars. This is the downside of doing these videos. Do you know why I don't want to shoot this video today?
Because you don't want to sell that one.
I don't want to sell this guitar. These are both very cool older Taylors. We're going to give you some history, tell you what they're all about, and don't buy the guitar I'm holding. But you can watch, so stay tuned. Hey, you're watching Alamo Music TV. My name's Chris McKee.
And I'm Cooper Greenberg.
We're here with Alamo Music Center in San Antonio, Texas. You can find us online at alamomusic.com. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, and hit that like button. If you'd like to support the channel, visit our spring store link below for our custom designed t-shirts like the new one I'm wearing today. You're not wearing one. We didn't match this time.
It's like they just didn't print it on here yet. It's one of them.
It's coming.
The design's
You're just going to lay down and the machine's just going to fall down. And
zap.
It's going to hurt.
Right?
So like I said, these are two very cool guitars. And, you know, it's great to do these videos. It's fun to play these guitars. These are both used models, and they are a blast from the cell phone dinging past.
Yep.
So I'll start reluctantly, and we'll tell you all about these, and then I'm going to do a demo on both of them. This, ladies and gentlemen, is a Taylor Kenny Loggins signature model. That's right. We're in the danger zone. So back in the early aughts, so 2000, Taylor did a ton of limited edition signature models. There's a Russ Freeman, a John Cephas, there was a John Denver commemorative model around that time. There's a Jewel Kilchner model that was really cool and fairly affordable. This was not one of the affordable options. This is a Kenny Loggins signature model, and it was very limited number. Built in the year 2000, they made 100 of them. This is number 49 of 100. And as you can see, one of the best parts of this guitar is it's made of koa. Beautiful, like
some of the best I've ever seen.
Really, really nice koa. Look at that. The back's amazing, the side's amazing, the top's amazing. Yes, beautiful. Some different inlay here. Hibiscus flowers inlaid in wood.
SpongeBob style.
SpongeBob style. It's got a boat inlaid up here, and I think if I remember the story correctly, this was all aesthetics because Kenny was living in Hawaii and he has a boat and he just loves that stuff. But it's really nice. It's got Schaller gold tuners with ebony buttons. It's got a Fishman undersaddle pickup system in it. Came with a deluxe case and was rather expensive. But this is also a body style that's no longer available. So it's an all-koa jumbo with a Florentine cutaway. And I actually really love Florentine cutaways. I have a older Doyle Dyke signature model that was kind of from that era with Florentine. I like that, particularly on bigger bodies. I like the jumbo style, and I really like all-koa. You've played this guitar a bit. I know because it's an open tuning.
Yes. So we got this in on consignment, I think, just earlier this week, if not last week. And it was one of those that, you know, case opens up, everybody in the whole store congregates around this case. And I have heard tell of these guitars from you, especially because this is one of those holy grails for Chris. But, you know, I've always seen pictures and stuff. It really doesn't do justice, especially, I mean, just seeing this one, number 49, the koa is like some of the most insane I've ever seen. And the sound is jumbo, you know? Yeah, really nice.
So I might misspeak. I don't know the history of this guitar, this specific guitar. If this wasn't the one that Alamo Music had, then this is the second Kenny Loggins signature model that I've ever played. Because, again, they only made 100 of them.
Yeah.
But when they first came out, I played one at Alamo Music before I was employed here at our Babcock location. And then it sold. This might be that guitar since it's here in San Antonio. And, again, there's only 100 of them. But it might not be. I don't know the history of it. If it is the same guitar, then I've only ever played one. And it was phenomenal every time. And you know what I really like about this is the jumbo body, usually you have to really kind of lay into it to get it going, but I really don't feel that way with this guitar. It's pretty responsive. Yeah,
I was going to say that it probably sounds better today than the first day that you tried it at the store because of the time that koa has gotten to breathe and kind of open up and everything. which is kind of the joy of koa, I guess. Mm-hmm. You know, truly the tone just gets exponentially better over time, and it starts off great, so it's only got got to go up from there,
Yeah.
and it's been taken care of very well. By
It's
the
in
owner.
very good condition. It's a very cool guitar from that era. And to your point, it's on my list. My wife knows there's a list of guitars I would love to own. This is one of those guitars. But it is available, and sadly, it probably will not be mine right now. So definitely check out the details on our website. So this is a cool one, and we wanted to pair this with another one because, again, it's a blast from the past. It's an older used Taylor we got in. That is very unique. So tell us about the one you've got.
Think about this. Think about this comes in the door on a Monday, and then this one comes out on a Tuesday.
It's a good week.
It's a great week. 2 guitars that most people probably have never been able to put their hands on before or even see in person. So this is a Grand Symphony, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Grand Symphony with Adirondack spruce on the top, but the big deal is it's got Brazilian rosewood back and sides, which, if you're watching the channel, you probably know is not the easiest wood to get a hold of. But again, the owner of this guitar, I believe this is from 2006.
Yes.
It's in impeccable condition.
It's a limited edition. It's got an ES pickup. It's kind of weird because there's not a lot of ornamentation. There's no inlay, which I really actually love.
Yeah.
I love the blank fretboard on this guitar. This was actually during a period where Taylor kind of divided their lineup, and it was weird. I understand why they were doing it, but they kind of divided and then they brought it back together. What they did is they had their acoustic line and they had their acoustic electric series, right? And your acoustic electric series is what we knew from Taylor and what we know from Taylor now. Mm-hmm. It was the 100 series, 200 series, and on up. And you had your appointments by series and all of that. The acoustic line didn't have any of that stuff, the frou-frou, if you will, no series appointments with inlay and everything. They were very simply appointed, and it was by the shape and the wood used. So at that time, and you see these available, you would have like a GS5, and the GS5 would be mahogany, like the 500 series had, but a GS body. And part of the reason for this was to create something that was really focused on what was going on with the tone, the acoustic tone of the guitar. So along with the change with simplified aesthetics was a change to the bracing. So they introduced their relief route, which if you don't know, even the V-Class Taylors still have that. It's basically a very shallow relief that's cut on the underside perimeter of the top. And this idea actually comes from violins. Violins have a very similar thing that just allows the top to move a little bit more by creating that relief. So that was introduced. Some changes to the bracing patterns were done at this time. And my custom shop Taylor that I had built really follows a lot of the bracing innovations that were done as part of the acoustic line. Now, why I say it's kind of weird is this guitar then has a pickup in it. So, you could get an acoustic series and have an ES in it. My sister-in-law has a Taylor I gave her that was a GS8. So it was like an 800 series, but it didn't have the 800 series inlay or anything. Mm-hmm. It was just rosewood and spruce GS body. It's a great guitar.
Yeah, that's cool.
So these focused on the acoustic sound, and this was a limited edition with Adirondack, we call it Addy, and Brazilian, which is, Brazilian, look, here's the thing with Brazilian. I was at a meeting at the Taylor factory once, bunch of dealers. This is back in 2014. And Bob Taylor was talking to us with Andy. And someone asked Bob about Brazilian rosewood. Like, is there hype about it? And Bob got really serious. And he's not one to blow up things and have hyperbole and say stuff's great when it's not. And he basically just said, look, it's earned its reputation. So this wood combination was effectively what started kind of the golden age of Martin as we know it. It's not because of the wood. There were designs and all sorts of stuff, but this combination of Adirondack and Brazilian rosewood gives a guitar a really powerful sound. What did you hear when you played it?
It's like the pinnacle of a spruce and rosewood, I think. That's the thing, that's the classic combo, Taylor, 800 series, 900 series, and then Martin, 28s and all that. But then just having sort of the pinnacle of each of those woods being the Addy top and the Brazilian rosewood. It's a big thing for me is hearing the hype. I think this is probably the first Brazilian rosewood that I've ever gotten to play. Mm-hmm. And it's all the good stuff that you love about rosewood, and just heightened. It's really, really pretty.
is different than East Indian rosewood. East Indian rosewood actually technically has more bass if you look at it kind of from a frequency standpoint.
Yeah.
Brazilian rosewood actually has more treble than East Indian rosewood
Yeah.
does. But the way that you experience those is different. There's more overtones. And you know how sometimes we describe like mid-range, low-end as like kind of being broader? Here's a great visual. If anyone ever messes with the DAW and you go in the EQ and you can adjust your EQ and change how like the peak is, how broad it is. These have this very broad bass and treble response. So it's never shrill, it's never short and cut off. It responds really well with Addy because the Adirondack top already gives you a lot of volume. The Brazilian rosewood complements that, and then you have these great overtones. And so I always think of Brazilian rosewood guitars like this as just being really chimey, really thick on the low end. Not just having the presence, but being really full, and then having that wonderful kind of overtones that you want from rosewood.
Yeah. And I will say, you know, this is also available at the store. This is a very rare guitar, as is this
Both
one.
of these, yeah.
When
Anything with Brazilian rosewood
Yeah, so
is going to be rare. That's why it's so expensive. We were talking about this.
That's what I was going to say. When it comes to Brazilian, getting a new guitar with Brazilian rosewood, we like to have fun and go on custom shop websites and all that kind of stuff. Whether we're doing a custom or not, that's for another conversation. But when a manufacturer has a stock of Brazilian rosewood advertised and you can kind of spec it out to see what that would look like, we're talking like 5 digits of cost added, and that's not starting with a 1, 2, or 3. You know,
it's a ridiculous expensive upcharge.
Very expensive.
Because you can't get any more. So if you're not familiar with the story of Brazilian, basically it comes from Brazil. And these rosewood trees were over harvested. And so there is a CITES treaty that controls rare flora and fauna throughout the world, basically what can be harvested, what can't. It deals with poaching and whatnot. And Brazilian rosewood is one of those woods that cannot be cut down, period. Anything that's on the market was cut down back in the 70s prior to the CITES treaty that deals with Brazilian rosewood, or some stuff's been harvested from like what was left over. Like what I've been told is that there are very large trunks of trees that were still there because it was pretty wasteful logging. Like they would just cut really high and move on. And so there has been some additional harvesting that's been done on those trees. But you know, it all has to go through a process. So in addition to being rare, there's a lot of paperwork involved and whatnot. And there's just not a lot of it available. And so it's a very, very special tone wood. I think this combination typically for most acoustic guitar players is deemed like the pinnacle, the holy grail tone wood, if you will. And I mean, just look at the two of these. Really, really nice koa, which again is another rare wood, particularly when it's this figured. This is really old growth koa. And then Brazilian rosewood and Adirondack spruce. We're talking about some very rare wood. So I know after all of this, you guys want to hear what they sound like. So I'm going to put them through their paces for you. I'll let you know I'm playing them differently. I'm not playing the same thing on each guitar. These guitars kind of want something different. And so check it out for yourself, and you'll get to hear what they sound like. All right, so there you have it. Two very unique older Taylor models that we've been blessed to just have come through the store that we can share with you. And that's the whole reason for doing this video. It's really just a lot of fun. So we've got the GS limited edition with Adirondack and Brazilian Rosewood, and the Kenny Loggins. And now that you're holding it with the hair and the beard, you know, kind of a young Kenny Loggins over there.
Like a Messina age kind of
Yeah,
stuff,
Loggins and Messina era.
Back in that old time. Yeah, they're pretty insane, and also I'm assuming the last time that we'll see, you know, probably unless we both work here for another 15 years.
And another one of the 100 comes through. I don't know how many they made of these. This was not a numbered series, but did you catch that? It just just wants to roar. But there weren't very many of them because there's not a lot of wood.
Yeah.
You know, and that's typically how it goes. There was another run of limited edition Brazilian Rosewood 814s, I think, and 914s we shot videos on years ago. And if I recall correctly, when those were being done, Taylor was kind of saying, like, this is probably it. Like, this is the last time we're going to get to do this.
They're the leaders of the sustainability thing.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's like, I'm sure that I don't know. Yeah, it makes sense. It's pretty wild to see, but for the body shape, it seems like that's the perfect combination. You know,
a little bit bigger bodied guitar with these appointments. It's a cannon.
It's a cannon.
Yeah, it's a bit of a beast. So, if you want more information about either of these guitars, you can find it on our website, complete with beautiful photography from our staff at alamomusic.com. You can also chat with someone live. Maybe Cooper's going to be on there. You can ask him questions, and he will give you the correct responses, right?
Every time.
Every time. If you're new to our channel, make sure that you subscribe, turn on notifications, and like I said, hit that like button. And if you'd like to follow us on Patreon for some more fun, in the description, click on the link to become an Alamo Music Insider, learn what that's all about. And if we get other very cool stuff in the door, we will make sure that we share it with you as well. Anything else?
Nope. These are cool guitars, and you will not be disappointed if you grab one of them.
We're going to play both of these guitars, and I'm going to go get a loan and buy that one. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.